2 has finally dropped, showing us everything from the fate of Commander Cody, the return of those Jedi younglings from the Illimark including Gungi, and even the man himself, Emperor Palpatine. So hit that subscribe button to see every single piece of upcoming Bad Batch news and lore, and let's break it down. To start off, we were given the release date of the show, which is fall this year. That's also the same time that Tales of the Jedi with young Qui-Gon Jinn, Dooku and Ahsoka is dropping, so that's certainly going to be a tight squeeze. So the trailer starts off with the whole Bad Batch in a heated firefight, probably in some droid factory. Inside they're being shot at by a weird droid which honestly looks pretty close to L3's design from Solo: A Star Wars Story. L3's line of droids were pilots though, so I don't think they'd be doing shooting. But who knows with how the Empire might have had them programmed. We then move on to a beautiful world with blue and white mountain peaks. This could really be any planet, but it does kinda remind me of the blue Force Crystal planet from the Star Wars 2015 comics. On this planet, Yoda discovered a tribe of primitive Force-sensitive kids who were fighting over the blue crystals that surrounded their world. While inspecting the tribes, he discovered the truth about the Force and how the struggle between light and dark travels all the way through every level of the galaxy, down from the smallest tribes in the Outer Rim to the biggest players in galactic politics. The planet in that comic was more rocky and dry, but this could just be in the wintertime if it is that same planet. Now, the other interesting thing about this shot is that the armor used by the Bad Batch has been significantly upgraded from their original appearances from the unfinished Clone Wars episodes, the Clone Wars Season 7, and then the actual Bad Batch series. According to the Star Wars Celebration panel where this was released, the armor is designed to be a middle point between their original Clone Commando armor and the Stormtroopers of the future. We know from Season 1 that Project Warmantle was forcing most clone troopers out of the ranks. And I of course have to mention that Omega finally has some armor. Maybe just a cap, but hey, at least it's something. In the next shot we get a clear look at the paint job being used by the Bad Batch crew. It seems they've moved away from the red color scheme to a more yellow color, pretty close to the 2/12 from the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith. Next we get a shot of Hunter in his new gear, and they seem to have taken some new disguises as well. This is probably for one of the many covert missions that they'll be going on throughout the series. In combination with that shot, Omega is there with her new helmet and the same energy bow from last season. Moving forward, we return to Cid's den, the famed underworld location where the Bad Batch get all of their missions from. She basically tells them that they can have a future other than service for the Republic and Empire, something bigger for their lives. The Bad Batch tell her that they are free, but she says, clearly you're not. This then cross-cuts to a massive shot of clone commandos rounding up and capturing a group of citizens on an unknown dark location. This could be Mount Tantus at night like we saw at the end of the last season, and because all of the prisoners are different species, maybe the best and brightest have been pulled from various planets. It's possible that the Empire wants to experiment on these possibly smarter people. Right after we get another shot of Omega in hiding at that same facility from the first shot, and it looks like those same L3 looking droids. Still unclear what model they actually are, but they look cool in action. Now moving on from that, we get an honestly phenomenal scene. We see Omega on Coruscant at the Imperial Senate, seemingly spying at a sitting of the Senate. In the center we see the Grand Vizier of the Empire, Mas Amedda, and then the man himself, Emperor Palpatine, rising up into the chamber. Palpatine is showing the senators of the galaxy exactly what happened at Kamino, and knowing Palpatine, they're probably blaming it on some rebellious traitors. Right after, we zoom into Palpatine and he says it's time for a new era. This also confirms that he's voiced by Ian McDiarmid in the show, which is really cool. You might be thinking that he's talking about the Republic transitioning into the Empire, but that's already a done deal. What he's talking about here is moving away from the aging and expensive clone army and moving towards a human-born stormtrooper corps. After that, we see a bunch of old Republic LAAT gunships zooming towards the planet. Clearly, they're not fully out of service yet, so either the Empire is using them or a group of rebels has obtained them. In the next shot, we see the Bad Batch running with a crate of goods on a very nice looking beach. This could actually be one of the islands on the homeworld of Kit Fisto, Glee Anselm, which is described as being a beautiful holiday location. It's technically classified as an ocean world, but Tobias Beckett from Solo was born there, so clearly there has to be a few islands with dry land. In the one after, you get a small glimpse at Scorch from the Delta Squad just like we saw in Season 1, but sadly still no signs of the others. Although the good news is that the Bad Batch are on Kashyyyk later in the trailer, so maybe we'll get an update on Sev, who is still MIA there. But we'll cover that Kashyyyk shot later in the video. Now, the next shot is really something special. We see a clone pretty much all of us have been wondering about for years, Commander Cody. In this shot, Cody appears to be working with the rogue Crosshair, seemingly on a hit mission against some Imperial dissidents. Honestly, it's amazing to see Commander Cody back in the flesh, and I really hope we get to see what his new role is. In Legends, he ended up training new stormtroopers on Kamino. In canon, well, I guess we're about to find out. Moving on, we get the Bad Batch fighting those same round-headed droids from earlier, before we see them firing on what looks to be Phase 1 original clone troopers. Now, the scene is really blurry, so it's hard to tell, but I do think they are Phase 1 clone troopers by the looks of their pointier helmets. If they are Phase 1, these could be remnant clones who were stranded somewhere earlier in the war and were now found after the war had ended. A similar story was told in Legends with clone trooper Abel. Right after, we see the Bad Batch's ship, the Havoc Marauder, evading those LAATs from earlier. Clearly, the Batch aren't a fan of whoever are piloting them, and since we can see some proto-TIE fighters, it could just be the Empire. Although the shots are so fast, so it's pretty hard to tell on any details. After that is Omega falling seemingly into a volcano. If I had to guess, I would say this could be the planet Lola Sayu, where the Citadel prison was located. During the Clone Wars, Anakin was sent there to rescue Master Evan Peel and Tarkin. In canon, we currently know that there is an insane kidnapper droid who is holed up there with a bunch of Force-sensitive children that he kidnapped, so it would be incredible if we saw him show up. Moving forward, we see the Bad Batch helping a group of what looks to be rebels underground. This could really be any group, but it's clear that the Bad Batch want to help out people in need. Definitely a bigger purpose than their current life. Right after this, we get a clone trooper wielding a vibro knife, looking backed up and incredibly angry. This is definitely Commander Cody because you can see the scars above his eyes and cheek, exactly as there were in the Clone Wars series. In the immediate next shot, we get another absolutely awesome reveal, being that Gungi from the Ilum Younglings arc actually survived. In that arc, he and some other younglings were taken to Ilum by Ahsoka Tano, where they collect their kyber crystals for their lightsabers. In this shot, Gungi ignites the same green lightsaber that he crafted in those Clone Wars episodes, and it looks like he's in danger. In the scene connected to that, we can see a young boy speaking to Omega, who looks awfully similar to Petro from that same Jedi Youngling arc. If this actually is Petro, I'd bet that most of the younglings, including Katuni, probably survived. We know for a fact that Hondo named his ship after her, so maybe she's off with him. Straight after that, we see Cody again, but this time looking distraught and in different armor. This might suggest that he's turning over a new leaf, and could even be joining forces with the Bad Batch. Next, we see Tech on a swoop race track, almost like the ones we see in the Knights of the Old Republic. So maybe they're out here looking to earn a few credits. After that, a Phase 2 normal clone trooper is using a flamethrower against some old Clone Wars era B1 battle droids. This could point to us getting an episode like in Rebels where some old battle droids are discovered and still think the war is going on. In the final lightning reel, we can see Admiral Rampart, Phase 2 clones possibly on Mount Tantus, Gungi fighting on grasslands with his lightsaber, and even a Wookiee on Kashyyyk. This suggests that we're going back there to settle some unfinished business. We know that Saw Gerrera is there in Fallen Order, so maybe the Bad Batch are going there to stop the Empire from taking Wookiee slaves. There's also an unfinished episode of the Clone Wars where the Bad Batch are on Kashyyyk, but that's set way earlier, so maybe that's not connected. We then see Hunter in some really cool looking armor before the reveal of Captain Rex. He's clearly back in action and hoping to fight back against the Empire. It's not clear from current canon how involved he was with the rebellion before going into the Walker in Star Wars Rebels, but it's possible that something pretty bad happens during this series which basically makes Rex decide enough is enough. Then he would set off onto Selos to live in peace. Obviously he's later pulled back into the fight by Kanan and Ezra, and by that point the rebellion is really starting to come together. And to end off the trailer, we get some scattered shots of the Bad Batch in various places with new armor. Not much we can really gather from these shots other than that they're still going to be working hard to stay alive. There won't be many easy days for this lot while the Empire and Crosshair are still on their back. But let me know in the comments down below what you think will happen with Crosshair. Is there a full redemption arc in play, or is he donezo? Thanks so much for watching guys, really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it this far, drop in the comments, thank Mr. Gungi down below.